Michael, you cover the Catholic Church for Crux across the United States of America. Now, you live in Chicago, and the most significant sort of church event that's happened in Chicago in many years is the appointment of Archbishop Blase Cupich. Now, just being in that local church, when you look at that appointment, what do you see as the significance of that?
Yeah, it was a surprise appointment. Bishop Cupich was in a very small, kind of rural diocese before this. And when he was named, a lot of people didn't even know who he was. They had to kind of like search through archives to figure something out about him. And he's really come in with a lot of excitement, and kind of he's picked up the Pope's call to get the church out there and kind of talk about a whole range of issues, which has won him some fans and foes alike. I mean, he's out there talking about how the environment and poverty and unemployment have to be concerns maybe on par with other issues that the church talks about a lot, like abortion and marriage. It's really been an exciting time for the church in Chicago as a journalist to cover it, to see kind of this energy and dialogue and back and forth. And I think for Catholics in the Archdiocese too, to kind of see someone come in with such energy and enthusiasm.
You heard about the appointment, you watched it happen. What did you see across the American church? Like, what was the reaction like across the board?
I think surprise. This appointment took a lot of people by surprise because Pope Francis chose him himself, is what we've heard. He wasn't on the list of recommendations, but he had made kind of, Archbishop Cupich had made a name for himself talking about social justice issues and the economy, and he proved himself to be a good manager in his previous diocese. So he has the chops for the job, but a lot of people just didn't know who he was. But as he's kind of gotten out there, it's still, he's at about a year mark. People are getting to know him still. I think a lot of people are impressed by what he's done so far.
Let's talk a little bit about Crux, the media outlet that you write for. It's an initiative of the Boston Globe, which is a secular newspaper. How did that come about? What's the significance of a major Catholic initiative like Crux coming out of a secular newspaper?
Sure, not only a secular paper, but the Globe, which
right.
For most people, when they think of the Boston Globe and Catholicism, they think of the Globe breaking open the clergy sex abuse story. So a decade after that, having a publication dedicated just to the church is kind of quizzical for some people, like what's this all about? But what I think it is it shows that Pope Francis and the Catholic Church at large has really kind of captured the imagination of a whole lot of people, not just Catholics. Its influence on, culture and politics and life. It's something that has to be covered seriously. So as secular journalists, I think we're able to kind of step back a little bit and look at what's really going on, and we can cover all sides fairly. And we hope that people who read Crux have the ability to find something that's interesting to them no matter where they fall on both the political and ecclesial spectrum. There's something there for everyone.
Now, you're the author of a book, The Tweetable Pope. Just tell us a little bit about that book and what inspired you to write it and why Pope Francis seems to be a great tweeter.
Sure, yeah, so we have 5 minutes for this, but Pope Francis, I think, recognizes that most people have about 20 seconds to listen to a message. So for him, Twitter is the perfect platform to do that. He speaks in great sound bites, and they transition so easily to Twitter. But the key to Pope Francis on Twitter is that they really stick with you, and you think about them throughout the day. So if you follow him on Twitter and see the messages or someone retweets it, it might give you pause and make you kind of step away from the screen for a minute and make you think about something a little bit deeper than you're used to from a Twitter prompt.
There's a fascinating statistic about Pope Francis's tweets, which is that he has, I think, 22 or 21 million followers, which is not the most. I mean, we have people like Justin Bieber who have,
Sure.
God knows how many.
Yeah.
But he's the most, I think, retweeted of all the major leader figures in the world, retweeted by a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think accounts for that, or what's behind that?
Yeah, I write in the book that people are inspired but also challenged by him. And I think a lot of people want both. They want to be kind of encouraged in what they're doing in their lives, but also kind of challenged to reconsider how they might improve. And he's a master at doing that on Twitter, both. And that's why for 3 years in a row, he's been the most influential global leader on Twitter.
Amazing for someone who doesn't watch television and doesn't look at the internet or whatever.
Doesn't know how to use a computer, but there he is.
Michael, thank you very much.
Thanks.